This is the Fredericksburg Neighbors Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Dory Stewart.
Welcome back to another episode of the FXBG Neighbors Podcast, where we share the stories of our favorite local brands. I have a special guest joining me today. We've got Maija Liisa Penn, and she is with the Knowledge Exchange. Maija Liisa, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, I am really excited to learn more about you and learn more about the Knowledge Exchange. So let's start there. Share with us, what is the Knowledge Exchange?
Well, the Knowledge Exchange is a 501c3 nonprofit founded back in 2020, right when COVID happened. Started on the premise of providing free and accessible tutoring for the community, and then it evolved from there. I'm currently the CEO and co-founder of the organization, and I'm pro bono through the organization as well. We exist to deliver holistic and evidence-based educational services that empower individuals and promote lifelong learning, fostering an inclusive global community. For us, we don't just see education as academic. We see education as a holistic, all-person type of approach. So we have some different innovative ways that we educate people just to be able to reach any learner that needs it. So, yeah.
Amazing. Well, I absolutely love what you're doing, and I'm a former teacher, so
Awesome.
holds a special place in my heart. What you're doing, so thank you for what you're doing. I'd love to dive deeper, though. You started around COVID. Tell me a little bit about your story and what led you to wanting to create this.
Yeah. So I worked in special education back in 2024 until like 2017. I was a paraeducator in Spotsy and Stafford County Public Schools, considering to be a teacher of some sorts because I came from a family of teachers and educators. And I just saw that there was this gap. And I worked in like alternative placement for kids with autism and disabilities. So I've always gravitated towards those populations because I was a student that was undiagnosed and needed extra support, but never got it until it was like, oh, I'm in high school and I'm about to graduate. And my parents were like, oh, you need SAT support with your math because your scores are not, you don't have good scores. And my parents had to take out a loan for my tutoring. And I was like, I think that's ridiculous, but I was like, I'll do it because I have to. And so fast forward to when I'm adult, I'm like, how can I help support in some way? My background's in applied behavior analysis as well. That's my undergrad in psychology. And I really wanted to figure out how can I support the family as well as support education. And I wanted to find a different way to go about it just because I felt like, teachers can only do so much, as you know, as being a teacher. Tutoring services are, for the most part, are pretty rigid. And this is like a curriculum that we follow and blah, blah, blah. And so I was really interested in how we could make something different to help people. I currently just work in nonprofit work full time because that's just my passion. But it just really came together from my background in SPED and just having a different perspective on education. The founder and the prior CEO, Jimmy Shing, he was a private tutor and he just saw that people paying for tutoring, they're paying $50, $80, $100 an hour for tutoring, and people who need it can't afford it on a consistent basis. And so we just kind of came together and said, hey, we're going to try this thing out and just see what happens. And 5 years later, here we are. Just kind of came from just people that are passionate about the community. I'm a Fredericksburg local. And so it's just me trying to give back to my community and just to help the people that maybe won't get the help because they don't fit into that perfect little box.
Right. Well, what a gift you are to our community. So thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
It's amazing. And so if someone is listening, tell me who thinks, maybe this is something that they might need. So if there are parents listening who are maybe having some kids that are struggling, who is who kind of walk me through the process and who you serve, and if parents want to contact you, what that process looks like.
So it's pretty simple. I'm out in the community, I'm on social media, things like that. So we get a lot of people that are word of mouth, social media, people that reach out to us. But really, we serve anybody. We believe adults need support too. So we have provide adult education when we have tutors available for college courses or GED support. But our primary demographic is K through 12 learners of all facets. Because of my background, I work with gen ed and sped. So I'm able to bring on tutors that have that experience to work with really any student as long as they have the comfortability and want to get coaching if they need it. And also the SPED students that have 504s, IEPs. We really take anybody as long as the parent's willing to partner up with us. We're really big about encouraging the parents to be involved in that process, because for us, we want to solve that problem by empowering the families to know how to learn, how to teach their child and support them academically, and partnering up with the schools to really work together as a village for our youth, and then perpetuate that into adult learning, is recognizing that adults need support too, and just kind of destigmatizing this idea that tutoring's for people who are struggling, or tutoring's just for certain groups of people. It's for anybody. It just happenstance that we work with a lot of people with disabilities, because that's my background. But I'm just happy that I'm able to provide my expertise in a different way and empower other individuals who want to educate that aren't traditional educators, because we don't just hire teachers, we hire people who are just passionate about a subject matter. Either they use it in their day-to-day work or what have you. So that's kind of how that comes together. But how people can find us, they can go to our website, tkenonprofit.org. They can fill out an application. I'll reach out to them, or they can reach out to us through our social media. The Knowledge Exchange is our name, and we have like a blue light bulb. That's our logo. So it's easy to find us. Just reach out, and we'll connect and see if it could work out.
Amazing. I love that you have taken this to another level, where you're including the parents and educating the parents as well, and working with the schools. So you've really thought about more. It's more than just tutoring, right? It's including everybody else, so that it's really what's best for the child. I really love that you've taken that approach.
Yeah, I noticed that was the gap that I saw when I worked in the schools, when I would talk with other tutors who would do it privately, that the parents didn't have buy-in. And for me, I emphasized that in that interview, that initial conversation of like, you got to be involved, and we hold them accountable to that. Like if a tutor provides an assignment, we hold the parent accountable that we assigned this to your kid to help them retain the information between sessions. And you got to help them with that so you can understand what we're doing and can reinforce that. If that doesn't happen, we have a conversation saying, hey, we want you to be invested. Don't just drop your kid off with us, because at the end of the day, we're not going to be around here forever. And that's not the goal. Is for us to support and empower so we can move on to other avenues of education that need support. So that's like a big part. Another facet of our organization is we provide enrichment services. And after COVID, around 2021, 2022, when all the corporate tutoring services kind of got their stuff together, and we were kind of figuring out, okay, do we want to continue tutoring? Do we want to try some other things? And seeing this gap of social emotional learning with our students, and also with just people in general. COVID really put a lot of us at a deficit. A lot of our kids are COVID babies that don't know how to socialize, don't know how to interact, don't know how to problem solve. The list goes on, as you know. And we are a organization of people that founded it that are big nerds, that love nerdy things. And so we had a couple of different things that was floating around about trying Dungeons and Dragons as a tabletop role-playing platform that people use to kind of tell stories and create characters and fantasy. And I saw that as an opportunity to really teach these executive functioning skills, problem solving, supporting each other in a very different way, math a little bit with like adding together roles and different things like that. And it's really evolved. That program started with two young men back in 2021. It was just like a small little project, little pilot after the summertime that we tried out, like a couple like one-shot type of things. And now it's like blossomed into this one of our most successful programs, because the need is there, that people want social emotional learning. They just don't know what that looks like for their kid. And a lot of our students or a lot of our players are neurodivergent, so it helps support that social deficit that they have. And so those same two young boys who started with us in 2021 are still with us to this day, graduating high school, and seeing a lot of our kids coming back year after year. We have about an 80% retention rate in that program. We do youth and adult sessions, and we started doing a summer program that kind of melds together the academics with the D&D to really provide that more, fun bridge approach to really help kids enjoy learning. It's been very successful. So yes, the tutoring is a big facet of what we do, but the D&D is another fun, different way that we teach, and it's really been very successful for a lot of our participants.
I love that. What a creative way to connect with the kids and take it, to another level and add some fun to it. I love that you did that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. So if there are people listening that want to get involved, that want to help your mission, what are some ways that people can support the knowledge exchange?
Of course, we're a nonprofit, so volunteers are always helpful. We contract our tutors, so we do pay our tutors and eventually our instructors that do the D&D to compensate them for their time. And myself and our other admin staff are pro bono. But we are looking for people who want to develop their skills. Either they want to be interns and they want to help with grant writing, community outreach. They want to get some admin assistant experience, kind of some clerical work, because that would be very helpful. If somebody has finance background and wants support with like bookkeeping, things like that, any little bit helps, because we're a small but mighty army of people that are really trying to make a difference. So the easiest way is just to go on our website, join TKE, fill an application that kind of lists what our needs are. If somebody has a specific interest, but they don't see exactly what they're looking for, still fill out application. We can have a conversation and see if there's a way that they can fit in. So people can be tutors, people can be enrichment instructors, which are the DMs that do the D&D. Really anything is an option for people.
Amazing. Well, I absolutely love what you're doing, and I really appreciate you coming on the podcast today and sharing the knowledge exchange with us.
Yeah, of course. And I realize, obviously, monetary donations and in-kind donations are always helpful. We're a 501c3, so you do get that as a deduction on your taxes, so it doesn't hurt. But thank you for the time and the opportunity to share.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Fredericksburg Neighbors Podcast. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to fxbgneighborspodcast.com.